Good evening. It's February 22nd, 222. We are going to do the Lord's Prayer like we try to do every day. We're going to try to do it right. Right, Joshua? Appreciate that again. Let's start off with that. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. So tonight we are going to read from Leviticus 13:1 through 59, Mark 6:1 through 29, Psalms 39, 1 through 13, and Proverbs 10:10. So those of you that have been hanging on with me, Leviticus has not been the best book of the Bible. It's been a lot of the wave offerings, absolution offerings. There must be 8 or 9 or 10 different offerings, and the act of what they do with the offerings, it's just under redundant. It's been a little redundant. So we've been dealing with that for a little bit. I'm looking forward to getting into Mark. We have until March 3rd until we're out of Leviticus. So bear with me for a few more days, please. Okay, Leviticus 13:1 through 59. God spoke to Moses and Aaron. When someone has a swelling or a blister or a shiny spot on the skin that might signal a serious skin disease on the body, bring him to Aaron and the priest or to one of his priest's sons. The priest will examine the sore on the skin. If the hair in the sore has turned white and the sore appears more than skin deep, it is a serious skin disease and infectious. After the priest has examined it, he will pronounce the person unclean. If the shiny spot of the skin is white but appears to be only on the surface and the hair is not turned white, the priest will quarantine the person for 7 days. On the seventh day, the priest will examine it again. If, in his judgment, the sore is the same and has not spread, the priest will keep him in quarantine for another 7 days. On the seventh day, the priest will examine him a second time. If the sore has faded and hasn't spread, the priest will declare him clean. It is a harmless rash. The person can go home and wash his clothes. He is clean. But if the sore spreads after he has shown himself to the priest and been declared clean, he must come back again to the priest, who will conduct another examination. If the sore has spread, the priest will pronounce him unclean. It is a serious skin disease and infectious. When someone has a serious and infectious skin disease, you must bring him to the priest. The priest will examine him. If there is a white swelling in the skin, the hair is turning white, and there is an open sore in the swelling, it is a chronic skin disease. The priest will pronounce him unclean, but he doesn't need to quarantine him because he's already given his diagnosis of unclean. If a serious disease breaks out that covers all the skin from head to foot, where the priest looks, the priest will make a thorough examination. If the disease covers his entire body, he will pronounce the person with the sore clean, since it has turned all white. He is clean, but if they are open, running sores, he is unclean. The priest will examine the open sores and pronounce him unclean. The open sores are unclean. They are evidence of serious skin disease. But if the open sores dry up and turn white, he is to come back to the priest, who will re-examine him. If the sores have turned white, the priest will pronounce the person with the sores clean. He is clean. Just bear with me, please. When a person has a boil and it heals, in the place of the boil there is a white swelling or a reddish white shiny spot. The person must present himself to the priest for examination. If he looks like it has penetrated the skin and the hair in it has turned white, the priest will pronounce him unclean. It is a serious skin disease that has broken out in the boil. But if the examination shows that there will be no white hair in it and it's only skin deep and has faded, the priest will put him in quarantine for the 7 days. If then spreads over the skin, the priest will diagnose him as unclean. It is infectious, but if the shiny spot has not changed and hasn't spread, it's only scar from the boil, the priest will pronounce him clean. When a person has a burn on his skin and the raw flesh turns into a reddish, white, or white shiny spot, the priest is to examine it. If the hair is turned white in the shiny spot and looks like it's more than skin deep, a serious skin disease has erupted in the area of the burn. The priest will pronounce him unclean. It is a serious skin disease and infectious, but if on examination there is no white hair in the shiny spot and it doesn't look to be more than skin deep but has faded, the priest will put him in quarantine for 7 days. On the seventh day, the priest will re examine him. If by then it has spread over the skin, the priest will diagnose him as unclean. It is a serious skin disease and infectious. If by the time the shiny spot has stayed the same, he has not spread but has faded, is only the swelling on the burn. The priest will pronounce him clean. It's only a scar from the burn. If a man or woman develops a sore on the head or chin, the priest will offer a diagnosis. If it looks as if it's under the skin and the hair in it is yellow or thin, he will pronounce the person ritually unclean. It is an itch, an infectious skin disease. But if when he examines the itch, he finds it only skin deep and there is no black hair in it, he will put the person in quarantine for 7 days. On the seventh day, he will re examine the sore. If the itch is not spread, there is no yellow hair in it, and it looks as if the itch is only skin deep, the person must shave except for the itch. The priest will send him back to quarantine for another 7 days. If the itch is not spread and looks to be only skin deep, the priest will pronounce him clean. The person can go home and wash his clothes. He is clean. But if the itch spreads after being pronounced clean, the priest must re examine it. If the itch has spread to the skin, he does not have to look any further. For yellow hair, for instance, he is unclean. But if he has seen that the itch is unchanged and black hair has begun to grow in it, the itch is healed. The person is clean, and the priest will pronounce him clean. When a man or woman gets shiny or white shiny spots on the skin, the priest is to make an examination. If the shiny spots are dull white, it is only a rash that has broken out. The person is clean. When a man loses his hair and goes bald, he is clean. If he loses his hair from his forehead, he is bald and he is clean. But if he has a reddish white sore on his scalp or forehead, it means a serious skin disease is breaking out. The priest is to examine it. If the swollen sore on his scalp or forehead is reddish white, like the appearance of the sore of a serious skin disease, he has a serious skin disease and is unclean. The priest has pronounced him unclean because of the sore on his head. Any person with a serious skin disease must wear torn clothes, leave their hair loose and unbrushed, cover his upper lip, and cry out, "Unclean, unclean." As long as anyone has the sores, that one continues to be ritually unclean. The person must live alone. He or she must live outside the camp. Good Lord, y'all. Don't get no skin sores and white hairs, is all I'm saying. If clothing if clothing, woolen and linen clothing, women and knitted cloth, and linen or wool, leather or leatherwork is infected with a patch of serious fungus, and if the spot on the clothing, on the leather, or the woven or the knitted material, or anything made of leather is greenish or rusty, that is the sign of a serious fungus. Show it to the priest. The priest will examine the spot and then confiscate the material for 7 days. On the seventh day, he will re examine the spot. If it is spread in the garment, the woven or knitted or leather material, it is the spot of the persistent serious fungus, and the material is unclean. He must burn the garment because of the persistent and contaminating fungus. The material must be burned. But if when the priest examines the spot has not spread to the garment, the priest will command the owner to wash the material that has the spot. He will confiscate it for another 7 days. He'll then make another examination after it has been washed. If the spot hasn't changed in appearance, even though it hasn't spread, it is still unclean. Burn it up, whether the fungus has affected the back or the front. If, when the priest makes his examination, the spot has faded after it has been washed, he is to tear the spot from the garment. But if it reappears, it is a fresh outbreak. Throw whatever that has the spot in the fire. If the garment is washed and the spot has gone away, then wash it a second time. It is clean. These are the instructions regarding a spot of fungus, serious fungus in clothing or wool or linen, woven or knitted material, or any other article of leather, for pronouncing them clean or unclean. Wow. Can't wait to break this one down. Leviticus 13, 1 through 59 says the chapter is about diagnosing skin diseases, especially leprosy. It may sound medical, but it's deeply spiritual. I'm glad there's a breakdown, seriously. God is teaching Israel that sin spreads, contaminates, and must be examined carefully. The priest didn't heal, he inspected and declared clean or unclean. The leadership principle says don't ignore what spreads in your life, marriage, business. It is infectious. Confront it early. Hidden compromise becomes public contamination. Okay, now it's making a little more sense. Because when I first read it, I thought it was under redundant, see the word redundant again. But I guess the breakdown makes a little more sense because it's still a lot. And I'm just keep hanging on. We're gonna make it through this together. It's a lot. All right, here we go. Mark 6:1-29. He, Jesus, left there and returned to his hometown. His disciples came along. On the Sabbath, he gave a lecture in the meeting place. He stole the show, impressing everyone. We had no idea he was this good, they said. How did he get so wise? All of a sudden, great get such ability. But in the next breath, they were cutting him down. He's just a carpenter, Mary's boy. We've known him since he was a kid. We know his brothers James, Justus, Jude, and Simon. James, Justus, Jude, and Simon. Okay, I did not realize that. And his sisters. What was Jesus' sister's name? Does anybody know? I might have to check that one out. Who does he think he is? They tripped over what little they knew about him and fell, sprawling. And they never got any further. Jesus told them a prophet has little honor in his hometown. Ouch, hang on. I'll tell you a story about that here in just a minute. A prophet has a little honor in his hometown. Oh man, that's good. Well, yeah, I got a story for that one. Among his a prophet has little honor in his hometown among his relatives. On the streets he played in as a child, Jesus wasn't able to do much of anything there. He laid hands on a few sick people and healed them. That's all. He couldn't get over their stubbornness. He left and made a circuit of their own village's teachings. Jesus called the 12 to him and sent them out in pairs. He gave them authority and power to deal with the evil opposition. He sent them off with these instructions. Don't think you need a lot of extra equipment for this. You are equipped. You are the equipment. No special appeals for funds. Keep it simple. And no luxury inns. Get a modest place. Be content there until you leave. If you're not welcomed, not listened to, quietly withdraw. Don't make a scene. Shrug your shoulders and be on your way. Then, when they were on the road, they preached with joyful urgency that life can be radically different. Right and left, they sent the demons packing. They brought wellness to the sick, anointed their bodies, healed their spirits. King Herod heard of all this, for by this time the name of Jesus was on everyone's lips. He said, "This has to be John the baptizer come back from the dead. That's why he's able to work miracles." Others said, "No, it's Elijah." Others said he's a prophet, just like one of those old-time prophets. But Herod wouldn't budge. "It's John, sure enough. I'll cut off his head, and now he's back alive. I cut off his head, and now he's back alive." Herod was the one who had ordered the arrest of John, put him in chains, and sent him to prison at the nagging of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife. For John had provoked Herod by naming his relationship with Herodias adultery. Herodias, smoldering with hate, wanted to kill him, but didn't dare because Herod was in awe of John. Convinced that he was a holy man, he gave him special treatment. Whenever he listened to him, he was miserable with guilt. And yet he couldn't stay away. Something in John kept pulling him back. But a Portonius day, I'm going to have to look that one up. Portonius Day arrived when Herod threw a birthday party inviting all the brass and blue bloods in Galilee. Herodias' daughter entered the banquet hall and danced for the guests. She charmed Herod and the guests. The king said to the girl, "Ask me anything and I'll give you anything you want." Carried away, he kept on, "I swear I'll split my kingdom with you if you say so." She went back to her mother and said, "What should I ask for?" Asked for the head of John the Baptizer. Excited, she ran back to the king and said, "I want the head of John the Baptizer served up on a platter, and I want it now." That sobered the king up fast, but unwilling to lose face with his guests, he caved in and let her have her wish. The king sent the executor off to the prison with orders to bring back John's head. He went He went, cut off John's head, brought it back on a platter, and presented it to the girl who gave it to her mother. When John's disciples heard about this, they came and got the body and gave it a decent burial. Ouch. Hmm. Mark 6, 1 through 29. Jesus is rejected by his hometown. Familiarity breeds unbelief. They saw him just as the carpenter. Because of their lack of faith, miracles were limited. Then, when we see John the Baptist boldly confront sin, it all cost him his head. The two lessons are: don't let familiarity rob you of honor. Standing for truth may cost you, but silence costs more. You can't be bold about God and soft about conviction. So I'm going to save that story for when we get done of Mark 6, 4 through 6. Yeah, I'm going to save that. I think it's Mark 6, 4 is what I want to read to you in a minute. So Psalms 39, 1 through 13 says, it determined to watch steps and tongue, so they won't land me in trouble. I decided to hold my tongue as long as wicked is in the room. Mum's the word, I said, keep quiet. But the longer I kept silence, the worse it got. My insides got hotter and hotter. My thoughts boiled over. I spilled my guts. Tell me what's going on, God. How long do I have to live? Give me the bad news. You've kept me on a pretty short rations. My life is a string too short to be saved. Oh, we're all puffs of air. Oh, we're all shadows in a campfire. Oh, we just split in the wind. Oh, we just spit in the wind. We make our pile and then we leave it. What am I going to do in the meantime, Lord? Hoping that that's what I'm doing, hoping. You'll save me from a rebel life, save me from the contempt of idiots. I'll say no more, I'll shut my mouth, since you, Lord, are behind all this. But I can't take it much longer. When you put us through the fire to purge us from our sin, our dearest idols go up in smoke. Are we also nothing but smoke? Ah, God, listen to my prayers, my cry, open your ears, don't be callous. Just look at these tears of mine. I'm a stranger here. I don't know my way. A migrant like my whole family. Give me a break. Cut me some slack before it's too late and I'm out of here. David's having a rough go. Psalms 39, 1 through 13, the breakdown says David wrestles internally. He tries to stay silent but realizes life is short, a mere breath. He shifts from frustration to surrender. My hope is in you. This is emotional discipline. Feel deeply, but anchor higher. Time is short, live intentionally. Time is too short, y'all. Proverbs 10:10 says, an evasive eye is a sign of trouble ahead, but an open, face-to-face meeting results in peace. That's true. Whoever winks maliciously causes grief. Translation said, passive aggressive behavior and hidden agendas create destruction. Be direct, be clean, no manipulation, integrity over cleverness. So let me read this to you. The big picture says Leviticus tonight was talking about inspect what spreads. Mark, stand for truth even when rejected. Psalm says life is short, hope in God, and Proverbs says walk in integrity. The man who leads his house well, that's a man who leads his house well. Lead with integrity, walk in integrity. So let me read this to you. Let me give you this quick story real quick. So I've been in the beauty industry for 25 years and used to work for a very large corporate company called L'Oreal. Everybody pretty much knows about L'Oreal. I was the number one sales consultant in the nation in 2021 out of 800 sales consultants. I was very good at my job. About maybe 6 years prior to that, it was around maybe 2019-ish, 2020. Let's see, it's 25. No, I'm sorry. 2020, we're in 2025. I would have said it's maybe 2019, let's say, 2019. 2018, 2019. One of my customers in a small town in Georgia, north of Atlanta, she was a local educator, and she knew everybody in town and everybody knew her, and she became a very big premier educator. Went up through the ranks, and nobody ever really wanted to give her the time of day. And she was very upset about it. Called me one day almost in tears because she was just very upset. And the conversation I had with her was exactly what Mark. I just want to read it to you again. Just bear with me for a minute. It was Mark. Leviticus. No, it was Mark. Mark 6:4, I believe is what it is. Jesus told them a prophet has little honor in his hometown among his relatives on the streets he played in as a child. So I guess I didn't realize that I'd heard this before from a mentor. An expert is someone from out of town. So your career field, whatever it is you do, or wherever you grew up, if you live in that town and something big happens to you, like for me, I do a lot of motivating and coaching and mentoring, and I help women to be self-sufficient, if you will, and how to manage money and things like that. And so one of the things I explained to her was, if you will start taking classes at least 2 hours away, which would be Birmingham or Atlanta or Chattanooga or Knoxville or Memphis or Nashville, start doing some classes away, because the classes she was doing locally, no one would give her the time of day. They acted like they weren't interested, like they'd roll their eyes and say, "Who are you?" So the crazy thing happened, and she went to a class. It was in Birmingham. It was about maybe 2.5 hours away from where she lived. Literally called me in the car and was kind of crying. And I thought, it didn't go well. So I was like, "What are you upset about?" And she said, "I wanted you to know that you were right. An expert is someone from out of town." There were like 15, 18 people in the class, and they sat at the edge of their seat taking notes of every word she said because they didn't know her. She was a really good educator. So it's crazy that you all have these people that live in your town that are very intelligent with business and money and finances and education and all of the things, but you want to go somewhere else and pay $2,000 or $3,000 to listen to somebody that you don't know from Adam's house cat. And it's crazy. You have all these resources right in front of you, of these people that are so intelligent, that have made the mistakes and gone the ranks and got out of their comfort zones to be successful, but yet we don't want to listen to them. So it's just something to think about. So if you are a motivational speaker, or if you're lived in the same area for a long time and you're really good at your job, people in town, they're just going to look at you and go, "I remember you when you played out in the streets." So I got a little winded tonight, but I just wanted to, I don't know, that one just kind of hit me, and I wanted to let you know that you are a big deal. And if you're really good at your job, it don't matter what anybody else thinks, if you're good at what you do. So no one told you today, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. You guys have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it.